Today we're going to talk about slope. Every single point in the coordinate plane is x comma y. So we go on the x-axis and the y-axis. And today's slope, you know rise over run, but today we're going to practice from 2 points. It's going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You can see I already have some set up. But let's talk about this first one. I'm going to be labeling these as x1, y1 because that's the first point I see, and then x2, y2 because that's the second point I see. So my slope is going to be whatever the y2 is. So in this case right here you can see we have y2 is 6 minus, and then my y1, which is this negative 7. And then x2 is negative 1 minus my x1, which is 2. So 6 minus negative 7 is 13 over negative 3. And we don't have a negative in the denominator, so the correct answer would be negative 13 over 3. So for my second one, I have slope is going to be y2 6 minus the y1 3. I'm doing a video. Do you mind not vacuuming today?
I can come back later.
Okay. And then x2 is 7 minus my x1, which is negative 3. So we have 6 minus 3 is 3, and 7 minus negative 3 is 10, and that will not reduce, so it's 3/10. Looking at our next problem. We have y2 is negative 6 minus my y1, which is negative 9, and then my slope is 5 minus negative 1. And so this double negative, you can even change that into a one big positive if you'd like. Negative 6 plus 9 is 3. And then I have 5 minus negative 1, again, that's opposites, right? And so it's plus. 5 plus 1 is 6. And then we can reduce that. In our calculators that were yellow, we used to put in our calculator, this is what we would write. If you have the calculate 84, that's a free app. So that's a wonderful app to have. But what we would do is we'd do 3 divided by 6, and we would hit math, enter, enter, and that would help us to reduce. Otherwise, you have to know that both of these are divisible by 3, and so that's why it's going to be 1/2. Number 4. So we have our slope is, and we're going to do 8 minus 9, and then negative 5 minus negative 4. So I have a negative 1, a double negative becomes a positive, negative 1, and a negative 1 divided by negative 1 is a positive 1. Moving on to the next one, we have m equals y2, so that's going to be this negative 1 minus my y1, negative 3. x2 is negative 7 minus 8. So negative 1 plus 3 is 2. Negative 7 minus 8 is negative 15, and so it's going to be a negative 2/15. And right here, we've got m equals my y2, which is 6, minus 3, and my x2 is 2 minus negative 5. So 6 minus 3 is 3, and this is a double negative, so that becomes a positive, and that does not reduce. I want to give you a second here. I'm not going to do 10 through 15, but I think you should do 7, 8, and 9. If you can get those, you're probably set. Let me give you just a moment. Pause and try it. Okay, so hopefully you tried it. I've been writing the equation right here just so you can see it. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Do you have to do this order? No, it's just a practical order, and so I hope that it helps you to just keep doing the same thing every time. So looking at number 7, we've got 5 minus 5, and then negative 9 minus 8. Now, you probably had a little moment where you're like, that's 0, that's awkward, and you're right. But 0 divided by anything is just 0. So it happens, it's okay. Looking at number 8, we would have 1 minus 2 and 5 minus negative 7. So I've got negative 1, and a double negative makes that positive 12th, and so we have negative 1/12. The last one's the trickiest, and I made you do it for a reason. We want to see what to do when this happens. So on top, we're going to have a negative 7 minus 3, and then I got the wrong color, I'm so sorry, minus 3, and then right here we have negative 4 minus negative 4. So that would give me a negative 10 over 0, which is undefined. So there is no slope. It would be called undefined. Later, we're going to know that that means that both of these x's are the same, so that equation would be x equals negative 4. That's a little preview. And over here, when our slope was 0, both the y's are the same, and so that's why it's going to be y equals 5. Okay, I'm going to go to the back of the notes now. We're just going to practice a few more times. So let's see which ones are the most interesting. Let's do these bottom 4. Can you try those real quick? Those are the most interesting. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and label. I'm sorry for earlier. I thought that they would not come in while I was recording. I even have a sign up, but it happens. It's okay. So we're going to do y2. So we're going to do 8 minus that negative 13. And we're going to do 17 minus 17. Okay, so I purposely did this because we want to see what to do here. So 8, that would go to add because of double negatives. So it'd be 21 over 0, which we just said was undefined. So might as well preview it. Again, both the x's are 17, so the equation of that would be x equals 17, and it'd actually be a vertical graph. So it looks something like this over here at 17. Man, I'm just giving you a full preview today. It would look something like that on the x-axis at 17. Okay, looking at the next one though, this is all you had to do. My y2 is 3 minus 3, oops. And my x2 is 20 minus 19. And so 3 minus 3 is 0 over 1, which would just be 0. So once again, my y's are both the same, so my equation would be y equals 3. And so on the y-axis, up here at 3, it would be horizontal. We'll talk about that more later. Okay, these two, though, that you tried should have been more basic, so let's see how you did with those. You can pause it if you haven't already. So we would do negative 15 minus 0 and negative 11 minus 3. Why does it keep going in and out? That's weird, sorry. So we've got negative 15 minus negative 14, and a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and so that's why it is a positive 15/14. Last one, m equals y2, which is 10 minus my y1, negative 2. My x2 2 is negative 11 minus my x1, which is 19. Oops. And so this double negative becomes a positive, which is 12. And a negative 11 minus 19. It's not a double negative. There's the 11 between it. It's just saying negative 11 minus 19, which is going to make it even more negative at negative 30. And you could divide both those by 6. And so we would get a negative 2/5. So we always put the negative on top or on the side.